For those who know what they're looking for, you can find hidden gems of railways past in the most unsuspecting places. An old permanent way hut, or a distinctly Victorian bridge perhaps. Or sometimes something a little bit more obvious, like a railway carriage sitting isolated in the woods. Tucked away a few miles south of Horsham on the old London, Brighton and South Coast Railway network is West Grinstead Station, not to be confused with East Grinstead Station on the Bluebell Railway. They are nowhere near each other. This is one of 6 intermediate rural stops on the Steyning line, opened in September 1861. It was envisioned to be a rival route to the London to Brighton main line, going via the then busy port at Shoreham and the cement works just north of it.
The cement works?
But like so many of the sprawling countryside lines built by the over-eager Victorians, it remained as a sleepy branch until Beeching put it to sleep for good in March 1966. After the grouping of the Big Four in 1923, the Southern Railway stopped the squabbles between the LBSCR and LSWR with attempts to run through trains up to Guildford and beyond. But it never really took off beyond the local market traffic. Ken Bartlett, the old station master here, said there were more horses than people sometimes. And though diesels were used in the last years of running, it wasn't enough to prevent the losses. And the last train was sent away to the sound of a mournful trumpet. Something like that, I imagine. Speaking of losses, the Second World War was when the Steyning line was worked its hardest, delivering troops to lodges at Henfield, the airfield at Shoreham, and the battlements at Newhaven Harbour. On the 30th of November 1942, 2 German planes were flying over West Grinstead Station. Driver George Ansbridge stopped his train at the sight of them and ran to the signal box for cover, but one of the planes opened fire before he could reach it. One of the many lost in opportune air attacks along the easily targeted south coast. Nowadays, the line itself is also no longer here, but all is not lost. The local parish council and ex-railway staff have volunteered to retain the station as a garden and visitor centre. The platforms and station master's house still remain, and a recreation of the original sign has been made. An original semaphore signal has also been installed as a reminder of what once was, and many don't realise that a small lever to the side lets you actually operate it. Further along, a BR Mark I was delivered from South Wales to sit in the old cattle dock. Considering it really is in the middle of nowhere, it's kept in relatively good shape. And on some Sundays is open to the public as a small museum about the history of the railway, complete with a model railway of what the station once looked like. The carriage sits next to a line leading to the goods yard, where the base of a hand-operated crane still remains. Over into the trees is another hidden secret, as where an old brickworks used to be is the track to the sidings that once served them. Considering how much track was removed during the Beeching Axe, to find rails that are still left untouched is quite a find, even if trees growing between them means they'll never see a train again. This is just one of many abandoned stations along the Downslink cycleway, which uses the old trackbed for the Steyning line and the Guildford Direct line to let people do what the trains failed to succeed in, and travel along 37 miles from Guildford all the way to Shoreham. Personally, I've only cycled some of the middle bit, and that was nearly 10 years ago. Further up at Southwater, it's equally clear to see where the trains once ran. And north again to Rudgwick, there is a very unique double bridge. When the Guildford to Horsham branch first opened, the inspector was concerned at how steep the line was here, so the gradient was eased to a gentler climb. With the raised track, it meant they had to build a bridge on top of the old one before they could run trains, and the height difference is quite remarkable. This is just one of many fascinating structures left over by the railway age, so I'll have to oil up the bike and see what remains of some of the other stations on the line. If you enjoyed this episode of Guide Rail, do subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and check out the playlist for more of Britain's steam heritage. Ooh, a house.
Make a U-turn, then turn left onto
No,
Calthorpe
thank you,
Road.
phone. Not making a U-turn. We're there.
Any of these, I guess.
Any of these will do. Gosh, this is insane. Like, that's what it used to look like. There's the bridge. And that's it now. It's just... Oh, that's insane. It's just changed so much. So that's where we are. I've cycled... Oh no, yeah, I've done this bit. And then I've done this down to about there. But it goes on all the way to the sea. And all the way up to Guildford. It's a long route. We'll have to go back here at some point. It's this very unique double bridge. A big thank you to all of my brilliant patrons: Alex Goodman, GBH Train, D0280 Falcon, Sean Tempest, Nat, Random Thomas Fan, Peter Davenport, Ego, Kildane's Coven, Insane Edward, and Dark White 73.